I'm Corbett Wall with DVAuction, here with your feeder flash for Wednesday, April the 9th, brought to you in part by Therapies, that revolutionary product that is scientifically proven. Address the stress in your cattle. Therapies should be used every time beef cattle are exposed to management stressors. And it's not just for high-risk cattle. All cattle perform better in whatever they're doing whenever you use Therapies. For more information, go to therapies.com. The market has found a pulse, and it's a strong one. We've been down in the doldrums here late last week. Of course, the board plunged, and then it was down big on Monday again, but it did not go to the expanded levels that it could have. But then Tuesday, your cattle futures didn't really know what to do, but they did find some footing. And that's really all we needed. We just needed to know that there was some footing there somewhere, and we found some. And boy, your cash feeder cattle sales went right back to where they were. It was unbelievable. Maybe still just a pinch lower, but still back to those unbelievably impressive quotes that we saw just a week ago. And boy, that was a relief that we got back to those levels. But like I said, we can talk about tariffs. We can talk about maybe losing a trade partner on beef and things like that, but we cannot find any more cattle. They're just not out there, guys, and we are so short on our numbers, and it's a short time right here. We got people that are looking for cattle to turn out on grass. We got people that are looking for cattle to turn out on graze out wheat, which is going to be ample with all the moisture that we had over the weekend. And then, of course, we got people that are wanting to put cattle on feed. But the stock market was down again, but only 317 points. And you say only 317, well, it wasn't 1,000 points or 1,700 points or something like that. We've still lost about 11% on our stock market. Looks like a buying opportunity there. But old Trump, I tell you what, he is playing the rest of the world just like a piano. All the countries are coming to him wanting to make a deal. Been reported by his cabinet that as many as 70 countries have called in wanting to negotiate. Most of them wanting to negotiate no tariffs either way. Well, that's as free as trade as we could get anywhere, guys. And we've been wanting that for a long time. Of course, we didn't have hardly any tariffs on anybody, and they had them on us. But it looks like it's playing right into his hands. He's doing exactly what I hired him to do. I couldn't be a bigger, more Trump fan than I am right now. I'm bigger now than I was when he was running. And I tell you what, if you guys don't see it, you're blinded by your liberalism, apparently. I don't know. Of course, I think all of them are people that respond on our comments on this report on YouTube. Get 10,000 views, and there's just a bunch of people that comment that are all against Trump. Of course, the other people are busy working. They liking what's going on. They don't have time to put any comments down, but I appreciate the ones that do and are commenting positively. But we actually saw your markets and the stock market higher until you saw Trump respond to China's retaliatory tariffs. And what he said, we were at 54% before, and he says, oh, you guys are going to put a bunch more tariffs on us? Okay, another 50% for you. So now tariffs against China's products coming into our country are to be 104% starting Wednesday morning at midnight. And they're going to be coming to the table too, guys. It's just a matter of time. They all want access to our dynamic marketplace. There's not another one on the globe, and there's not nearly as many people that want to buy those little things and are buying them rapidly and have the disposable income to spend on those things. So, it's going to come around. But most likely, we're going to see, dang, flies already. Dang, it's just now April. It's already going to see us axe a lot of tariffs, and they're going to axe them against us. So it's going to open up our products to a lot more of the world and be competitive against their domestic products, and it's going to be a great thing here. But what Trump really wants to do is he wants to get rid of all the trade deficits that we have with these countries. They send so much more stuff to us, and we lap it up than they do of our products, and that is killing us in the long run. Is the trade deficits? We've got to do that. Plus, we need this tariff money, whatever it is, there still will be, to get us out of debt, or at least pay our debt down a little bit. We can't just keep going on in the red like we have for so long. But tell you what, things looked pretty good, and everybody I talked to on Tuesday was right back to their positive outlook. Most all the cattle people that I talked to are backing Trump 100%. They've gotten over, they had patience, and they respect his approach, and they respect that we have a leader that is really willing to do something to try to help us get out of this tough spot that we've painted ourselves into. But let's look at your board on Tuesday. Live cattle futures for April up 17 cents at 199.10. It was over $2 some of the day there. June was down 55 cents at 193.62. Back months were uneven there, from down just 7 cents to up as much as $1.12, and they were just jostling all day long during the trading session. April feeder cattle up 260 at 280.42. Well, it's got to get within at least eye shot of the tail lights of our index levels, and it's sitting about $9 or $10 behind there. So we're getting through April here pretty fast, so it's got to get kind of close. But May was up 45 cents at 271.72. Your back months on feeder cattle were down, but not much, from 2 cents to 45 cents lower, but at least we've got some footing. May corn was up 4.5 cents a bushel at 4.69. Beans up 9 3/4 cents a bushel at 9.92 3/4. Hard red winter wheat for May up 2 1/4 cents a bushel at 5.61 1/2. Your fat cattle trade, we're starting to see a few weak sisters here cave in, and of course they're just looking to get out, and nobody knew where we're going to trade fat cattle. We're trading them lower, but still it's a decent market. It's not terrible, but it's not enough to really tell. Iowa sold 100 head at 328. So last week our range was 330 to 345, so it's not absolutely falling out of bed. Nebraska, 1,400 head sold. Live price is 208. That'd be $2 or $3, maybe $4 lower on the live side there, and dress sales at 328. Kansas didn't have any live sales or direct sales at all negotiated on Tuesday. They did have some late Monday, 500 head at 204. So that could be a buck or so lower there than the lowest price we had quoted in the Southern Plains. Texas has not traded a hoof yet. We did have our Stockman's livestock market, our market maker, market finder, negotiated trade, price discovery, all the things you get with an auction setting. In Yankton, South Dakota, Greg Rackin does such a good job balancing that, and I got to give him credit. You know, everybody would love to do it. He's the only one that can really do it. But they had 800 in overnight, 1,700 for the fed cattle auction there at Yankton, South Dakota at Stockman's. Conventional fed cattle sell from 203 to 215 1/4. That was uneven, from 2 lower on the bottom side to 3 higher on the top side. Program cattle, non-implanted or drug-free, sell from 210 to 217. That was steady to $1.50 lower, but as a whole, your auction market fed cattle there were unevenly steady. He said they had an extra packer in there that they don't always have, and the bidding was active. So, you know, good market there, and you find that in auction markets, guys. Box beef cutout values were mixed. Choice was down $1.40 at 338.10. Select was up $2.76 at 322.06. There's slaughter keeping up fairly well. was what we've been doing here recently. 226,000 through the first 2 days of the week, estimated cattle slaughter. That's just 1,000 less than last week. It's 18,000 less than the same week a year ago. But look at what else is going on. Performance Livestock Analytics. Strengthen your cattle operation with the power of data. They've got different apps there, guys. It's a software company. With Performance Beef, you can simplify record keeping, and it just gives you so many options to do all kinds of things there with Performance Beef. And now with Cattle Crush, they've got instant market prices and insights. For more information there, go to performancelivestockanalytics.com. Talk about your feeder cattle market, brought to you by Specialty Risk Insurance. They are working to protect your livelihood. Your real-time index on DVAuction, based on an 800-pound cash auction steer up through your middle 12 states, just like your CME cash feeder cattle index. At the end of the day, always up to date and current, including all of Tuesday's sales, sitting at 289.22. It was down $1.25. So it's a 7-day moving average, and we had enough volume in there at a little bit lower levels there that it is finally falling some. But the first time we've really seen it lower since all this market uncertainty started here less than a week ago. Your latest CME cash feeder cattle index sitting at 290.53, but it'll be lower after we get the next day's sales in there. But your sales, and we didn't have any big runs really again on Tuesday. Guys really don't have to sell cattle, and why do they really want to if they think it's going to be a lot lower, but it ended up being a lot better, and a lot of the consigners were happy with what they got done on Tuesday, especially at Kimball Livestock Exchange in Kimball, South Dakota. Only about 1,300 head, which would be light for them. But they were well tested in the 9-weight category. They had 685 steers, weighed from 900 to 1,000 pounds. They averaged 950 on the button with a weighted average price of $272.34, and that included the Alford Charlet steers there. 120 of them weighed 928 at 280. It's a big time quote, guys. We hardly ever saw that before the tariff talk, and we sure haven't since. Another real active market was Beaver County Stockyards in Beaver, Oklahoma. They had 1,400 feeders in on Tuesday. Did have a market reporter there like they do every week, steady to $5 higher or $5 lower for the most part. But they had a really well-tested 7-weight steer market, and that's on the 2-weight cattle. The cattle that had the condition to be turned back out either on graze out wheat or grass. And then, of course, your feedlot guys wanted them too. That was the most active weight group in your 700 to 800 pound steers. In Beaver, they had 354 head in the 7 to 8 weight steer category. They averaged heavy in the 7s at 783 with a weighted average price of $296.72. Whoa, you're not going to see anything better than that a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Including in that, I pulled them all out here, 3 loads of those 2-weight cattle that had the condition to be turned out or went to feed. That included those consignments from Dodge City, Kansas that I told you about on yesterday's feeder flash. And they averaged a pinch over 790 pounds, bring from 308 to 309, weighing right up against 800 pounds, guys. It was never any better than that. How about some individual quotes from all around? How about Fallon Livestock in Fallon, Nevada? They must have had a special on Tuesday. They sold 56 Pee-wee steer calves, weighed 450 pounds, way out west at $417.50. How about one over in Arkansas, I-40 Livestock in Ozark, Arkansas? They can sell the load lots through there too, not just one at a time. That's why the local guys need to background them there where they don't have as much trouble with them. Sell them there as yearlings, and they get along really well. How about 69 head of 727 pound steers, bring 290.75 in Ozark, Arkansas through the ring. Thought that was pretty impressive. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Tuesday in your Macrocin No BS top quote for the day, excuse me, come from Philip the Giant, Philip Livestock Auction, Philip, South Dakota. 58 steers weighed 609 at 357. That's your feeder flash for Wednesday.